back to the fourth episode of Root Talks. Today, we bring you another exciting conversation filled with insights, inspiration, and stories featuring Miss Dipti Jain. Let's dive right in. Mrs. Dipti Jain started her career as a broadcast journalist with leading media house Z News. Haven't we heard of it? She worked as team director for a national magazine show, Bhumi, aired on Doordarshan. So, Mrs. Dipti, taking it back, what inspired you to start a career in media?
Hi, Samvedhya. It's very encouraging to be part of the podcast show by the Continuum kids. Very exciting. Thank you. Okay, back then, to start my career in media, my primary push or an encouraging person was my mom. Uh, she really knew that I was a very expressive child. I was very outgoing. But as we all are in teenagers, we face crisis that what exactly we need to take as a career path. I was also in the dilemma, but it was my mom who pushed me that with my skills, with my personality as an outgoing expressive person, she told me that why don't I take up a mass media course, and thereafter media is going to stay in this country. Media is the voice of the nation, and I should be a perfect fit for that career. And this is how it all began.
So, ma'am, throughout your career, what was the major life skills you developed, and did those support you when you became a mother?
Oh, yes, Samvedya. Broadcast journalism has taught me many life skills. It has been a very dynamic field I have worked for. Most important, I learned how to connect with the people at ground zero, to understand them, to connect with them. And that is how I could make my news to be more objective and to be more fact based. Second was to be spontaneous, presence of mind. That was very much required in broadcast journalism. We had no time and everything needs to be aired quickly, live. So, again, being a mother, it has helped me to connect with my children because I knew how to get to ground zero level, understand people, try to connect with them. So, so far as a mom journey, I have been successful to understand with both my children. And yes, to be spontaneous in presence of mind helps a lot as a mother. Again, being a parent is a dynamic journey. Nobody comes with a handbook. It's a learning. So these skills has definitely helped me as a mom.
Wow, that's very inspirational. Early on, what were the challenges that you faced in your journey as a broadcast journalist? How have you overcome these challenges?
Broadcast journalism as a career was very demanding. We had no fixed hours of working. Even the events happening during my tenure were very heartbreaking. I have seen bomb blast of Bombay, the 26/11 bomb blast of the Taj and everything. So very demanding. You have to keep your emotions intact, which was very challenging. If you are looking at the dead bodies, if you are looking at the crisis, but you are there on your job, forgetting everything, and what matters is TRP, and you need to be first aired on your channel. So to keep those emotions intact, your professional emotions, was challenging, but yeah, the most difficult part to be on the field.
Oh, wow, that's really encouraging for young broadcast journalists out there. Okay, so working with Bhumi, a famous show on Doordarshan, was there any experience that stuck with you for life?
Yes, working with Bhumi, I have always been born and raised in Bombay, an urban city, and ever developing urban city. But working for Bhumi, I have traveled to many interior parts of our country. It allowed me to reach very remote places where even in those times a basic Nokia phone mobile network was never reachable. So it was an amazing experience to meet the rural villagers who were actually working on the farm, to see that electricity was not available. I had been in Pune to a village called Bhir. So even electricity was not there. So that was an enlightenment for me that we have all lived in urban city and how life in interiors is so challenging.
Your focus on the environment is vivid, very vivid. So what do you think as students we can do to be sustainable?
Well, the challenge comes is if we are always in urban areas, the awareness or concern about environment doesn't flare up. For that, we need to be out on the field. More importantly, to go in the interiors to see how tribals, the local people, are actually concerned about the environment and how we can try to replicate the same learnings in the urban areas.
Oh, wow. That's really enlightening for all of us. So, you have worked in all types of medias. Describe an exciting experience or moment that you faced in all your work.
I'll repeat again. As you know, media is very dynamic. Broadcast. I have been a journalist. Thereafter, I came into programming for ZTV for the national iconic show Saregama Pa. Here, the journey had been to always being with celebrities. All Bollywood celebrities. Again, how to connect with people. Celebrities have their own aura with them. You have to manage them as a PR person very carefully to get those perfect moments for the perfect TRP on your show. So, to manage celebrity and the contestants of the live show was very challenging and at the same time very enjoyable.
Wow, so you've met with celebrities.
Oh,
That's
yes.
an amazing experience that anyone would want to have. How did motherhood change your perspective on media as a whole, including social media and technology?
Well, being a mom, I know since I've been a media person, I completely know the flip side of media, what goes behind the scene, how news is created. Back then in broadcast TV, fake news was never heard of, but news can be made. Today, I know the perils of fake news, how dangerous it is. And with the urge of social media addiction, we all tend to believe fake news very easily, very fast. So, yes, I'm trying as a mom to educate my children about this, and I hope I can make them better digital people.
So, yes, many people are very persuasive nowadays, and I'm sure as a media person and a mother, you would do an amazing job of keeping your children away from these fake news people.
Thank you.
Okay, so as a person with so much media experience, what would you say to students who are looking at a career in the same thing?
Okay, that's a good question. If the young students are looking for media, most importantly, develop yourself to be spontaneous, having a presence of mind. That is very much required in media. Be ready for the strenuous working hours. That is a need of media. So, if these two things are intact, be outgoing. Yes, you have to be outgoing, connect with people. You never know, you will learn from which person and what experience you can carry.
Oh, wow. So, students out there, listen to ma'am and follow your dreams. Okay, so what were some valuable lessons or pieces of wisdom that that you learned in school or in college that you still use up to date?
Okay. From the schooling back then, where we come from, a traditional classroom learning, discipline was very important. I was in a missionary school with all my nuns and sisters over there. Discipline was the most important criteria we had. So I have learned that very important thing in my life, discipline in my life. That has been very helpful from my school.
Wow, that's amazing. To wrap up this engaging conversation, working on a music show all your life, would you say that you share a love for music?
Well, musical show again. What I worked was it was more of a reality show with all music directors and contestants coming in, very Bollywood. But yeah, the age-old melodies of 70s and 60s are still there to say. The current music, even the playback singers, I don't identify with. So, but that's the reality. I would still enjoy my 70s and 60s music of Hindi films.
So, Mrs. Dipti Jain, taking it back, what inspired you to start a career in media?
I would try to be quite frank that as a teenager, I was also very confused with my career path. There were so many options available. The age old being, go into banking or go for a 9 to 5 job. That was the most secure thing anyone would think of. But it was my mom who encouraged me for media. She saw that I had skills of expressing myself quite well. She saw that I had an outgoing personality, which was very apt for a career in media. And she was the one who told that you should go into it, then the world is your. India is a nation where media as a career is there to stay, and it will give you a lot of exposure and to rise as a human.
Wow, that's really inspirational. So, my next question to you is: as a journalist who covers this, as a journalist who covers distressing stories, has the emotional toil ever caught up with you? Like, is the physical, the psychology, well-being of disaster journalists overlooked in the industry?
Well, I would not deny that when we are covering very sensational stories which are very distressing to the nation, it really leaves an impact on us. Even after going home, those things have impacted us as a human. Profession is there, but as a human, it does disturbs you. And what is required on field to is to stay composed. Your emotions cannot overpower you as a journalist. The information has to be very objective. But yes, as a human back home, those things always comes in your mind. And back then in industry, which was always a TRP race, these things were very much overlooked. It was well understood from the employers that the journalist should know that how you should compose yourself, keep your profession and emotions separately. So that was taken for granted. But I'm sure today, with such dynamic times and so much of competition, things will have definitely changed.
Wow. Okay, so my next question to you is: to what extent do you think digital media is a tool for greater democratization, or is it a space for that amplifies misinformation?
Um, Interesting question. Not so easy to answer. We all have to accept that internet, social media is here to stay, and it is inseparable from our lives. Now, with India's as a democratic nation, uh, I have learned that social media has played a very pivotal, interesting role in the current ruling government. It has changed how voting has happened. It has changed how voters think about who my contestants are, whom I have to vote. And this has really helped the current ruling party to have majority wing over the past 10 decade. So social media in our country has played an important role for the coming to misinformation. Yes, misinformation amplifies in a very large way. Fake news are everywhere. Companies like Google have realized this. I have my friends working for Google fake news team where they are on the field educating people that learn what is fake, how to learn what is fake, how to cross check the fact of or the credibility of the news. So yes, misinformation spreads very fast, and this is a need of the hour from the young age to realize and to be taught in the school. It because in Finland also students are taught in the school classroom how to learn and identifying what is a fact, objective based news and what is a fake news. It cannot be learned overnight. It comes as a practice. So yes, that is the need of the hour.
Yeah, that's very persuasive, and media nowadays is very it's persuading many people who are stuck to that particular place. They don't go to the newspaper for real actual news. So yes, we do need to learn, and schools are teaching students how to understand the difference between fake
Hmm.
and
True.
true news.
Yeah.
So, thank you for your inspirational words. And for children out there, look forward to a career in media because it's persuasive, and it's your job to fix and remove fake news
It's a very
as a whole.
responsible job. To sum up, media, to being a media personnel is a very responsible job. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.